I Google my business, find a mortgage person in Medford, it was actually Mount Laurel. And I didn't show up. My company showed up, but it was someone else in my office because they had 42 reviews. I had 16. Now I have 49. So that's how critical it is. And now when it shows up, his name isn't up there. My name is. So that's why it's highly critical.
I like that.
Okay. And I'll tell you how I did that slightly later. It's important to generate client reviews to build trust, rapport. Again, you trust you.
Jake, thanks for being there in the background. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for having this all ready to go. For those of you joining inside of the group, thank you so much. If you're in the webinar, let me know what city and state you're from, because we've got a special guest that we're going to have more often now. Kevin, thank you for doing this, man. This is a really great topic to start with. Before we jump in, though, could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, Kevin?
Okay, great. So I, just like most of the people attending this webinar, was a realtor at one point. So I started back in the, oh God, I don't even know if I want to say this, in the 80s, believe it or not, as a realtor. Yeah, did that for 5 years. A friend of mine grabbed me, and I had the mistaken idea. I said, you know what? I was a DJ before that, so I always worked weekends. I wanted to start a family. And I thought, well, if I'm doing real estate, I can't do that. So a friend of mine started or took over a mortgage company. He said, why don't you do this? You'd be perfect for it. I thought, that's great, because, realtors never call mortgage people over the weekend on Sunday night after their clients have seen the house. So I jumped into the mortgage space, and I've been here for 25 years. I've worked inside real estate offices. So I was at Berkshire Hathaway as their in-house lender for 17 years. I was at a Keller Williams for 2.5 years. So I think like a realtor. I get to see what realtors go through every day and the challenges they face. And that's why I started doing some of this. I started, thought, hey, I can help teach them how to get through some of this.
Very good. Well, thank you for doing that. It's very value-driven content, and it's very specific. So I like this. This is what we need. So I appreciate you. And we're getting people from all over the US and Canada. So thank you for joining us. Gabby, I see you from Temecula. Thanks for joining us. All right, Kevin, where do we start when it comes to the business profile for real estate agents?
Okay. So this is really a course on how to stand out. There's a lot of things that are important with regards to getting a Google business profile. So the first thing I would look at this is, again, looking at it from a realtor's view and doing an analogy that way. So think about, you've got this house that you're listing, right? Inside's beautiful, redone, granite, stainless, the whole 9 yards. Okay. But outside, not so much. Peeling paint, tumbleweeds rolling across the lawn. So you get people pulling up to that house and they're like, nothing, let's go look at the next one, even though the inside's gorgeous. Well, your Google business profile is your front door. So pretty much the rest of your social media, it's the front door to your business. It's one of the first things that people see, because even when they're referred, in this day and age, what people do is, like, if you want an accountant, if you want a carpenter, if you want, a landscaper, someone will give you a referral. But what are you going to do next? You're going to look them up. You're going to Google them. You're going to see what their reviews are like. So that's why, to me, this is kind of the starting point for your business and your business profile and all your social media. So what this course does is helps you go from page 6, where, by the way, most people don't search past page 2.
No.
Going into, hopefully page 1 or 2, and even showing up, and we'll allude to this later on, to the 3-pack. So it's the top 3. So, and that's really what you want to do. You want to turn, there's ways to use Google Business Profile. And I think a lot of people don't understand how deep a system that this is in terms of helping you. And by the way, it's free. That's one of the best parts about it. How many times you're going to be able to say that? But there's a lot that you can do, and you can actually turn someone from who's being curious about you and want to do some research and take them all the way down till they're locked into your website, and they're looking at your listings. So that's why there's a lot to do. You can basically, there's a lot to unpack, but you can set this up. We do step by step in this presentation, as people will see, but you can set this up within 2 hours and get almost everything done, and then tweak it along the way, and it'll serve you forever. So, like I said, if it's okay, we're going to get started into this.
Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, we have slides. We have a Google guide that we send to people afterwards. So if you'd like to, you want to register for the class, you can, for those of you who are not on your mobile phones, you can certainly do a cute little QR code that Christina did for me, and get registered for the class so that we can send you slides. We don't market people to death. That's not what I'm about. Or you can just visit www.kevinberju.com and you can register for the class. And it's, as a thank you for spending time with us today, we've got a whole 14-page Google guide, which kind of takes this whole presentation and narrows it down into what you can do step by step as well. And if you want to contact with me, again, here's all my social media contact. I do it with a link card, which I highly recommend. It's great because you can look up all your social media on one card. I don't do TikTok and X, so you won't find me on there, but this is a way to get me anywhere else and see what I'm doing, and see if you like it. Okay, our agenda today. So let's take this in parts. We broke it down into part one, which is your intro to Google business profiles and why it's important. Part two is how you set up and optimize that profile. Part three is generating client contact reviews to build credibility, which is really, really vital when doing this. And part four is best practices, promoting listings. So we're going to unpack each one of those. Let's start with first, why optimizing matters. Because a lot of people here, I assume, have profiles, right? They may have a profile set up. I very often look at realtor profiles, and even mortgage people have profiles, and they're set up just with the basic stuff because they just think that just having a profile on there is all that they need. And it's far from that. There's really a lot more you can do with it. Yeah, it serves a purpose, but there's so much more you can do with helping your clients and helping getting clients to you. So if you look here, you can see that, see if I get a little pointer here. Hold on, there we go. Okay, 87% of consumers use Google to decide on what business to use. And that's from 2022, but I don't think that's changed. 82% of those consumers read online reviews for local businesses. And, that's, again, the reviews are very, very critical. Google My Business listings are with accurate information in them get 7 times more clicks. So think about that. Again, that statistic underscores the importance of entering everything on your Google business profile correctly and accurately. But I'd love to find a way to get 7 more clicks from every client. Okay, so that stuff includes, your business name, your address, your contact number, website URL. We're going to go through all that and unpack all that. Okay, in part one, let's briefly review what a Google business profile actually is, for those of you who don't have one. And for those of you who do, the first 7 slides might be a little, okay, I've already done that. But bear with us because there are people here who don't have a Google business profile set up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And also, in addition to the previous slide, I can tell you that one of the important things is most people don't trust businesses that have less than a 4-star review. So again, client reviews are very, very important. And that's also the biggest filter. Like when you go on a search for somebody, when you're looking for someone on Google, you can filter them. And one of the
Mm.
ways you can filter by how far away they are. The most used filters is 4 stars or more. So that's the most popular filter on Google. Okay, so formerly known as Google My Business, which I keep calling it because that's what we learned to call it for multiple years. It's now called Google Business Profile. Why they changed it, I don't know. I like Google My Business better, catchier, but hey, that's their marketing. They get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to their marketing people. So this gives you really an opportunity, and that's what I like to really refer to it. It's your opportunity to showcase your business on the most visited website, I'd like to say, in the world. Of course, there's other search engines throughout the world. So let's just relegate it to the United States and maybe Canada. Here's the benefits. So you get your business on the map, so people know where you are, where you're located, where you service. You share quality and accurate information about your business. No one has to guess what you do or what you don't do, which is sometimes just as important. You generate client reviews, which is building trust. You create a good first impression. Remember the first door analogy that we used? It's the same thing, particularly when you show up earlier. These are all good things. Yes,
Yeah,
everyone wants that.
of
Okay,
course, man.
so if you look at this, this is how you're going to look on Google. There's a mobile and a desktop view. Okay. Again, consider this as your first impression. So when people look at this, they want to see how it's set up, what it looks like. With someone who's got an empty profile, I don't know, they're not going to be that impressed. When I see an empty profile,
Mhm.
I'm not impressed. I go to the next person sometimes. So we all want to control that first impression that we get or that we give to people. So
Mhm.
consumers make up their minds in like 30 seconds or less,
Yeah.
just like you do. I mean, think about your process. I mean, Tristan, when you Google something, how long do you look at a profile before you say, that's great, let me go further, or no, I'm not interested. It's a
Pretty
kind of a
fast.
short time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, when they Google you, what are they going to find? And again, this is why we're helping you with all this setup. Okay, so this is Google's word. I didn't ChatGPT this. So why create a Google business profile? Number one, it's free. You're not going to hear that often. It's free advertising. It's free marketing. Uh, Two, it's really easy. There's a lot of steps that you have in doing this, but it's pretty easy to do. It gives you prompts. It takes you along the path. Three, it's personalized. So you can promote your listings. You can do a number of things on there. You can, and I advise you. Oh, sorry, I think I went a little. Yeah, there we go. We were still here. It's free marketing. It's easy to use and it's personalized. You can set it up to reflect yourself and your business. Okay, here's why it's important for real estate and realtors. So you get to promote your listings. You can share photos and videos. By the way, stop here for just a second. How many people knew that you could do video on your Google Business profile?
I know, but I haven't done it as much as I would love, Kevin. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I had a profile for 5 years before I knew that you could do video on it. And it's very, very helpful. And we'll go into that. You can, again, why it's important for realtors is you get third-party endorsements too. So clients can leave reviews which are helpful for other clients. It helps build your credibility and trust. And know in all marketing, there's three things that you go for. You want people to know you, like you, trust you. If you get those three things, then when the time is right, they will follow your call to action. They will come seek you out, search you out. And the third thing on here too, which is different than a lot of other places, but it really goes into depth, is you can monitor your insights. So it really breaks down demographics of who's going to your profile, what they're finding when they go there, how long they stay, all that kind of stuff. So, and you'll see that on YouTube and other media as well, or social media. But I really like what they do here. So you can actually tweak your profile. Okay, we're already to part two. We're going to walk through how to create and optimize your Google business profile. Are you ready? Here's a step-by-step review of how to do this. Okay, step one, it's easy. Okay, go to www.google.com/business. You do need to have a Gmail address. So you need to have a Gmail email address to get this started. That is one of the critical things that you are required. Almost everybody has one. It's not hard to get. One of the things that I would highly recommend, though, is think about getting an address that reflects the way the rest of your business shows up. To give you an example, if I was Kevin.Berju, realtor, okay, I want to be that on my Facebook. I want to be it on my Instagram. I want to be it on my Google business profile, my YouTube. There's a reason for that, because when Google searches, it just doesn't search Google. It searches all the other social media. So the more you show up and the more it can identify you as the same thing, the more it pushes that algorithm to push you in the front of the pack. So find a name that's consistent, do it all the way across. And step two is click Manage Now. If you already have a Google business profile, like I said, when you click Manage Now, Google will open up your dashboard. The dashboard is very, very important. You'll see that very often throughout this presentation. Okay, speaking of dashboard, here it is. Okay, so you'll see it's got a lot of stuff on there. You can edit your profile, read reviews, a whole bunch of stuff on here. If you've Again, if you already have a Google profile, you're already logged into this, you can get to this pretty easily. You'll see icons, you'll see cards, and this is how you manage your profile. You can add updates, get reviews, and we'll unpack that later. So let's go a little bit further. So add your business to Google. So if you don't have a business Google profile created yet, or you can't locate the business, simply follow the prompts. It's very easy. Enter your business name, add your business to Google. That's it.
Easy.
Now you're going to, and by the way, if you can't, it'll later on ask you to recognize the name. So we'll get to that. I'm sorry, Tristan, did I interrupt you?
No, I'm just saying easy. I like it.
Yeah, no, it is pretty easy to set up. There's a lot of steps, but it's easy. There's a lot you can do. So the next thing you want to do is select service business as your business type. Okay, and click next. The reason is as a real estate agent, you serve a number of areas. I mean, we're not just in one neighborhood, most of us. We serve different counties, different townships, even sometimes. So we serve a number of hyper local areas. And when you put that in there, when you select service business, it expands that so that you can show up in searches in the surrounding areas too. And it allows you to rank higher because of that. Okay, next up is entering a business category. Very important. You can have multiple business categories because not everybody just does real estate. Sometimes they do peripheral things as well. But it would seem obvious to select real estate agents. Not always the case. And here's what I found. And again, these aren't so much official rules, it's just doing some research and finding that it's not the same as Google tells you it is in all the places. So it would be obvious if you think you put real estate agent, right, as your primary category. However, Google tends to favor in some areas ranking businesses ranked and categorized as real estate agency. So I'd probably list real estate agency, but what I would do, because we're national here, so I would go in your area, do a search and say, find me the best realtor in San Francisco and see how they show up. So if you see the preponderance of the first three or the top six showing up as real estate agent, use that. If it says agency, use that. If it says realtor, use that. There's not a hard and fast rule in that. Okay, now, so I did this. I put best realtor in Las Vegas, which is not where I live, but it's where I wanted to go. So best realtor in Las Vegas, I noticed 2 out of the 3 showed up as real estate agency. I noticed they all have, 5.0, 4.8, 4.9, and you can look at how many reviews they've had. So that shows up as well. That's a bonus tip, by the way. Next step, enter your business address. Not as easy as you might think. And the reason is because you could have, in your office, you could have 350 agents. Well, they're all registered on Google. And Google is going to get a little confused, say, wait, how can you have 350 separate businesses at the same address? So sometimes it's not quite as easy. Also, you have to be aware that, for example, I did business in a major city, and I lived in that major city, but my office was outside. It was not even in the same state. So, think about that. You might want to register your home address. Now, there is a way to hide your home address so people can't look you up and come to your house and say, I want to sign on my lawn or do whatever. But you may want to consider doing that if your office is outside of where the area you serve is and where you live. But again, this helps the algorithm too when you do that, because people are going to look you up. Keep in mind, Google search is a local search. That's how one of the ways that it ranks you is, how do we show up locally? So it's going to find the closest people. So you want to be your address set up to the area that you serve. Okay, select your business. It's pretty easy. It'll, put your business name in, select your business. If your business doesn't match, it'll say it doesn't match. So click that if it doesn't match. If what it gives you, if it finds you, because it's going to search for you. So if it finds you and you match, just hit match, go to next. And if not, you hit this doesn't match, it'll give you more options. So enter your contact details, mobile phone. Your phone number should be local. And if someone calls that number and you don't answer, Google actually knows. So, which is really interesting. If you think about it, it's one of the things you get ranked on. If they're on your website, I don't mean if someone just calls from their phone, but if they're on their computer or their cell phone and they see your number on the Google business profile and they click, yeah, I'd like to talk to that person, and you don't answer, Google makes a note of that. And again, this helps the algorithm. Now, of course, you don't want phone calls at 3 o'clock in the morning. They can get a little bit upsetting and wreck your sleep and not have a great day. So
Yeah.
what I think you can also do is you can select a Google business phone. So you can get a phone number from Google, have that forward to your cell phone. And when that phone number comes in from your cell phone, you can give it a different ringtone so that when someone's calling your Google phone number from your Google business profile, that you have to answer that. So it's just a way to get around that.
Makes sense.
And also, it'll have a place here that you can add your website. So add your URL to your website. That's really important. Okay. Put your business on the map. You want people to know where you are. So opt in to receive personalized email notifications and tips from Google. The tips are pretty helpful and they don't spam you to death with it. So it's worth doing. To read the terms and conditions, like we all actually do, right? And then click OK. I can't tell you the last time I read the terms and conditions on anything. I should. I'm not saying that is a thing we should do. Okay. So
quick
now,
question.
sure.
Kevin, Mark's got a good question in the adding the home address or address. Says, isn't setting your home address versus brokerage address contrary to most state real estate agencies' advertising rules?
Well, it may be, but however, so think about where your address has to be listed. So does it, it has to be listed on, some media stuff that you do or, other things. And again, every state's different. Mark, I know where Mark is. Mark is a friend of mine. So Mark, I would say, go ask your broker of record that, and she will tell you, Vicky. And it depends upon your state, I would say. I can't tell you that I'm an expert at that. Some states, I think, are more strict on that than others are. So Mark, I hope that answers it.
Perfect.
Okay, now that we have the basics set up, let's get to the next part, optimize the profile. Okay, so the next step is really to get verified by Google. Now, you would think, and I'm going to tell you, when I got verified 5 years ago, they did it, believe it or not, by sending me a postcard, snail mail, for a tech company. That was always a little bit odd to me. They've changed that. They've listened to their feedback, and now you can select other verification options, which may include a phone call or even a video chat with them. So it's pretty easy. Add your services to Google. So you want to select services that you provide to be shown to the right audience. So don't put in services that you don't do. So you're going to select real estate services. And in real estate services, it's going to have a drop down, everything from appraisal to, every other thing that you can do in real estate. Staging, again, don't put stuff that you don't do. Don't think that you're going to encompass everything and get more people by putting everything under the sun, because ultimately what will happen is someone will call you on that, and guess what? You're not going to want to do that. So why take that time to put all those things in there that you really don't have an interest in doing? You won't really capture anyone that you're looking to capture. Also, step 2, if you don't see a specific service, which is pretty cool, because I don't know, I haven't looked in this, I don't know if staging is on here, but there are several realtors that do that will do design work, that will do other work. If you don't see it on there, you can add it by adding custom services right there. So that's pretty cool too. Okay, next step, add your business hours. I don't know about you, but I see a lot of people in many fields, but particularly in realtors, who had 24 hours a day. I don't want to do 24 hours a day. I mean, I'm open, literally, I am open 8:30 in the morning to 8:30 at night. I do evening hours because sometimes people can't talk during the day. But do you really do 24 hours a day? I don't know. I mean, if you want to put that in, you certainly can. It's up to you. Enable and select direct messaging. This allows people to connect with you directly through your Google profile. And you want to also select accept messages. The next step is to add your business description. This is really critical. You have a maximum of 750 words. The description should accurately describe the business and highlight your unique features, what you can do, what you typically do, what benefits are to potential clients. A well-written, and this word is important, cute, 2 words, keyword rich. We're going to get back to that later, but make sure your business description is keyword rich. It can help you improve the visibility, move up the algorithm, and attract more customers. For those of you who've taken a ChatGPT class, maybe not mine, maybe others, there's plenty of them out there, and they're all great. This can save you about 20 minutes in setting this up. So, include who you are, the brokerage you are, what part you specialize in, all that stuff. So let's take a look at one. Okay, so here's the sample business description, and this is only 300 words. And yes, I asked ChatGPT to do this for me. And I gave it specific prompts, like years in the business, local market knowledge, do it in a relaxed and engaging tone. This example that you're looking at is the 3rd result, because it would have been 2 results, but I forgot to put in there a call to action, so I had them add that. And, again, highly recommend, if you haven't used ChatGPT, it's changing everyone's business, and it's a great tool. But if you look at this, look at what it has in here. I'm going to read from this for a second. So, looking for a real estate agent in Columbus, Ohio, who can help you find your dream home. Look no farther than Fred Sands. Fred Sands actually was a realtor in Columbus, Ohio. With over 15 years experience in the area, Fred built a reputation for his expertise in helping first-time home buyers. See, there's one thing he does. And it goes on for other things. Fred is it tells who Fred is, who's he part of. He's part of the Trust Brokerage team, a group of experts who are all about making the home and selling process easy and simple, and really have clarity to it. And it goes further. It extols Fred's virtues. If you could put third-party verification in this, that's also great. And says, a little bit more about his personality. Because again, you want people to know you, like you, trust you. This is your sales pitch. Think about this like your elevator pitch. What can you say to somebody in 30 seconds? What can you tell them about yourself to get them to want to use you, to know you, to like you, to trust you? And at the very end, it says, get in touch with Fred. There's your call to action.
Question
Okay,
on that,
so
Kevin. Bill says, but if you use ChatGPT, won't Google flag it as AI?
not always, no. Because keep in mind, when I do a ChatGPT, I take it, but I don't always take it verbatim. So I add and subtract from it. There's things it gives me that I like, things it gives me that I don't like. It's going to be hit or miss. I haven't had an issue with it. I can't say that you won't. So it
Yeah,
depends. I don't know if Google Business Profile is flagging ChatGPT for business descriptions.
yeah, Bill, what I would probably do is, since it is Google, I would go to Gemini, and
Great
that's
suggestion.
Google's
Yeah.
Chat GPT option, and put it up there, and then revise it a couple of times, take it through, export it in a Google Doc, and then go through it, personalize it, make it yours, and then upload it. So it's going to require a few iterations, but by the time it goes through all that, no one will be able to identify that it started as AI because it didn't end that way. There you go. And Alberto's got a question on the booking tools. Is it good to put a Calendly URL for appointments?
I'm sorry, a
It
Calendly.
says, yeah.
There'll be I think there's a spot for that later on.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. But yes, I would do that. That's how one of the ways that they can reach out to you. So next step on this is add photos, behind the scenes photos, team photos, photos of your listings. I would change them out, and I'm going to say something, as realtors and as mortgage people too, we tend to change our photos once every 10 years. But you want the client's experience when they go face to face with you on a Zoom call to match what they're seeing on Google. So, if you're in your 50s and you're using your college graduation picture, you might want to change that up.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. And I'm listen, honestly, you should change it every 5 years. I'm 2 years behind. So my last picture on all my business stuff is 7 years old, and doing this reminded me that I have to change that. They recommend at least 10 photos that you should have. I would keep changing them up because, again, the more you interact with your own profile, the more Google registers that you're changing stuff around. You're interactive with your clients. And there's a lot you can do. You can do educational explainer videos, get to know you videos, sample listing videos, and more. Videos, I think the videos on here are 30 seconds. They were talking about going to 60. They may have done it already. I'm not sure of that yet. But a great use of a video is to use it as a teaser to lead to, let's say you have a YouTube channel. And on that YouTube channel, you have your your whole listing, and a 3-minute video on the listing, and you talking about the virtues of the neighborhood, right? But you can't do that here. But what you can do is a teaser video that they can click through and get to your website. And we'll go more into that later on. By the way, for real estate, YouTube is the second most used search engine. People looking up neighborhoods, people looking up different things about the process. I taught a YouTube class, and that's how I learned that, but very interesting. Okay, when you're done, click continue. Now you might, don't look for your features right away, because some of them won't happen until your account is verified.
True.
Okay, this has been helpful so far. Who would be open to learning some pro tips?
I'm ready, man.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Let me look in the chat here. Oh, yeah. Good. Okay. All right. So let's look at some pro tips. And what would you think a product would be. So you may not be aware of this, but there's a space on the dashboard that says you can add product. So what would your version of a product be?
Houses?
Yeah, there we go. That's what we do. Sell houses. Okay. So adding products. Products are a good place to showcase your active listings, recent sales, buyer and seller guides, and more. See the green arrow here for products. It's pretty, again, I love this because it's step by step. It's so easy to do. It just follow the prompts and away you go. Okay, to add products, just go to your dashboard. Remember that? Your dashboard shows you everything on there. It's a one-stop shopping. Click edit products. Remember the dashboard from earlier, and almost everything happens from here. Now, I will tell you when you do this, let me get to the next slide. It'll tell you how to add all this. And again, you just follow the prompts. You can add it, give the product a name. You call it 123 Main Street. You can call it updated bungalow, starter home, whatever you want to call it, you can do it. You can create any product name that's relevant. You can do recently sold, all that stuff. Now, I'm going to touch on this. There's an issue with dragging your photo or selecting a photo here, which you can do. Just be aware that I have found issues with it, that it tends to crop your photo, so you'll miss the top and the bottom of it. So a good idea is to shrink your photo a little bit ahead of time, put it on a white background if you can, and it shows up better. I don't know if it's just me or this is a common Google issue. You can enter your price here of your product. You can add a description and then just hit publish. Okay, for example, you can add multiple listings here. So look at this. This is the FAR group. They're in Spokane, Washington. And you've got all their stuff. Look how they have them, Indian Trail Craftsman, Spokane Renovated, updated bungalow, all that stuff. Now, great thing is you click on one of these and look what happens. It expands. It opens up. You get a whole big, so this is like your own MLS on Google. You can put your listings up here and it shows up. You can even add a link, and that's really important here because, again, you're going from someone who's researching you. They start looking at your Google profile, right? Then they start looking at houses. Oh, honey, look at this house. This is great. They open it up. They read the description. Oh, wait, I can look at more. They visit your website. Now, hopefully on your website, you have a way to capture them. So if you can capture their information. That's great. But think about this. You went from a curious consumer to someone who's now on your website. I didn't know Google could do that, but it's very, very helpful. But wait, there's more. So here's another pro tip. Posts, also known as updates, on your Google business profile. So you can do posts, we call them updates, and here's how you do that. So you can update ideas. Here's some of them. You can do market stats, buyer seller tips, open houses, new listings. And you can see, they're not huge things here, but little picture, this is, he did, a spring home ownership guide, and tips, and he listed it in there. And then of course has his little call to action. So again, many things that you can do on this. Again, posting the updates, you just select add update and follow the prompts. It opens up again, your dashboard. Each post should include a thumbnail image. Your post should always have a link back to your website or, calling out some call to action on it. And set a goal. I would set a goal for like 1 a week, 3 a month, 4 a month, something like that. Because again, you change this up, people see that you've changed it too. And Google sees, and it pushes your algorithm. All right, here's 3 examples of content update. Clean your gutters. We did that. Most common seller mistakes. And here again, Will Draper put in, the house. He just took a picture of the house, put 600,000 on there, and they did cute little emojis on there. So, which is awesome. So again, there's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of tools on this. All right, here's the most important part. So Part
Quick
three.
question, Kevin,
Sure.
before you get into reviews. Jessica's asking, can you use calculators as products like the ones offered from Fidelity? I think
You
Fidelity has one.
you can, but I don't think it's active on there because it's just a picture. So you would have to use the URL, like where we have a call to action, the click here, go to the website. That's where you might put the calculator. I think that
Got it.
it would work that time. I haven't tried that. That's actually a really good idea. I
Yeah.
will have to try that out. All right. So far, is everybody getting good ideas? Is it worth the price of admission so far?
So
Okay.
far, I'm not complaining about the price. We're good.
Okay, good. Okay, client reviews. Client reviews are highly critical on your Google business profile. So I'll give you a very brief story. I'll use myself. So client reviews, I started at CrossCountry in July, right? Before that, I was with a company that used experience.com, and I was very, very, very critical on establishing, really good reviews. I had 116 reviews. I had a 4.94 rating. And then I started to think about it, and I started to think I had some like 10 or 12 Zillow reviews, some Yelp reviews, stuff like that, and they were all good. But I started thinking about I don't have control. If I leave that company, I lose all those experience.com um, reviews.
Hmm.
Zillow, and I won't go down the rabbit hole with Zillow, but I will tell you, Zillow is its own company. You don't own it. So Zillow at some point could start listing and selling homes. They could start a mortgage company. By the way, they've already done all that. They just haven't done it very well. They will at some point. They'll figure it out. So they can flip off that switch. Now, I know a lot of realtors like Zillow reviews because I think people see them a lot. But again, people are mostly coming here first, okay, or in addition to Zillow. I don't like the fact that somebody can just flip a switch and all my reviews go away. So that's why I'm very insistent on doing here. So when I started here, I had 16 reviews. I Googled my business, find a mortgage person in Medford, it was actually Mount Laurel. And I didn't show up. My company showed up, but it was someone else in my office because they had 42 reviews. I had 16. Now I have 49. So that's how critical it is. And now when it shows up, his name isn't up there. My name is. So that's why it's highly critical.
I like that.
Okay. And I'll tell you how I did that slightly later. It's important to generate client reviews to build trust, rapport. Again, you trust you. But with Google, you want to show up on what's called the 3-pack. It's not a 6-pack, it's half of that. So this is the first page. These are the highlighted things that show up on a Google when somebody Googles you. So if you look here, you can notice that these people all have pretty solid reviews: 4.7, 4.9, 5.0. But even here, this person showed up with only 30 reviews. This person has 147 reviews. So
Hmm.
it is important to have very good reviews. Again, if you're getting down to the low 4s, high 3s, and we'll get into how to get reviews and how to fix them in a sense. So here's what they use. They use 3 things to rank in the top 3 in terms of what we just showed you. So proximity. This refers to how close you are, which is why earlier we said, put your address where you're doing your business, because that's what's going to show up. Proximity is number 1. Number 2, relevance. So how well your business information matches your search query by the user. So the person who's looking you up, if your business matches. And again, this is where keywords rich business description comes in, because when they're searching, those things will push the algorithm. Okay. And that's why that's so important. Next is prominence. This refers to how well known and established your business is. Google looks at the number and quality of your reviews, not only the quantity. And by the way, again, Google's a little big brotherish. It not only looks at all the Google reviews you get, it looks at all your social media too. So like I said, you can't hide. It looks at other social media, real estate portals. So it looks at everything. And that's how it judges, to get you in the top three. Okay. Best practices. Building prominence is just a fancy way of saying getting more reviews. Here's some of the ways you can increase your chances. When asking for reviews, timing is an important factor. You can ask for a review after you get an accepted offer. So if your client's happy, oh my God, we're 7 offers and ours got accepted, ask them for a review. Another option is the closing table. When you're there closing, usually everybody's very happy at closing. So it's a great place to say, hey, can you give me a review? I
True.
started doing it at a different point. So for me, I started doing it at the closing table, and then certain things go on that you can't change. Like they get to the property and there's litter all over it. They didn't deliver a broom swept, or the title officer that you're using is slow. Instead of having a 45-minute closing, you're in an hour and a half, and they're pissed because the moving truck is waiting for them. So those are things I couldn't control, and I didn't want to give out, hey, give me a good review at that point, because there could be stuff that had nothing to do with me, but yet it affects their mood. So what I started doing was, when I get it clear to close, I tell them, you're clear to close, usually within 2 to 3 days of settlement. And then I give them the link. And that's important. Make it easy for them. Break down the barriers. Make it so all they have to do is click and put it on. But that's what I found is the most successful. When we're clear to close, we're waiting for settlement because they still want to please you and everyone around them, because they want that settlement to happen. So that's a great way and a good time to get those reviews.
Mm-hmm.
There's other ways to do it. You can create a monthly email campaign, because not everybody does it. The other thing is, at the closing table, after closing, they're way too busy. They've got a ton of stuff going on. The whole month is consumed by moving and unpacking, doing all that. So they don't very often have time. Put them in your CRM if you don't get one, and remind them once a month for the first couple of months. There are people that do it by like, hey, if you give me a review, I'll have a gift for you. I'm not crazy about that. I'm not going to tell someone else what to do. To me, that's kind of like buying the review. It is what it is. But again, well, I'll tell you my story. How I got a head start was, I had 116 reviews from before, remember? So
Mm-hmm.
what I did to really ramp up is I took those reviews individually, and I sent those reviews. I copied them, put them in an email, sent the Google review link, and said, hey, I'm switching the way I'm getting reviews. We live and die by our reviews. I really appreciate it if you just put the same review, which I laid out for them. I made it easy. Put
Mm-hmm.
the same brilliant review that you did for me. Can you click here and just copy and paste that on Google? And that was it. And it worked brilliantly. I actually had to slow it down, because if you get 30 reviews in one day, people know something's up. So, but you can do it that way, and it's a great way to change from Zillow or Yelp or wherever you're getting your reviews. Okay, and by the way, something else I want to address very quickly. Sometimes you'll get a not great review. One of the worst, and I'm not talking about the troll reviews, because sometimes, unfortunately, in this business, every business, you get a troll. Someone who didn't even use your services, didn't like the way you answered the phone, they give you a bad review. Not much you can do about that. You can try to have it removed. It's not easy to do. But if someone has a legitimate complaint, don't ignore it. Number one, Google looks at it. Google looks at it if you respond to a negative complaint. Number two, think about if you saw someone with a negative complaint and somebody in a business took the time to answer that negative complaint, said, hey, I'm sorry you had that experience. Here's what we really strive for. I'm open to having a discussion with you. Please call me at your earliest convenience. And people look at that and go, okay, it's not an egotistical monster I'm going to be dealing with. This is someone who's a human, it's just like me, and is willing to help, and who cares about his business, and therefore cares about me. Okay, before we wrap up, like a few more best practices. Okay,
Yeah.
your name, brand, and bio should be consistent everywhere online. We kind of copied that, but you can see Ashley Peterson / Promo Realty LLC, comma, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's all the same. And that's really what you should do. And not only with verbiage, even the headshot, I recommend being the same. Treat your Google business profile like you would any other social media platform. If you post content on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, think about at least once a month posting content on your Google Drive, on your Google business profile. Highly recommend it. Again, the more you interact with it, the higher you have a chance of getting to the top 3. And that includes anything, property listings, open houses, which is stuff you want to put on there. Here's another thing. Like, I'll give you an example of what I do. When I have a client go under contract, I send this out. I do it on Facebook. I do it on Instagram. And I should do this once a month on my Google Drive. When we go to close it, I post this up. So everybody gets recognition, everybody feels good about it. And again, it's just different content you can post. Take a look at what you post normally, then go through that. Okay, we're going to go through insights. We're limited on time, so I'm going to kind of go through them really fast. Insights are great. They'll tell you, if you look here, who's coming from mobile, who's coming from laptop, which tells you usually late at night, it's more laptop than mobile. Tells you if they're researching, where you are on Google Maps. It gives you a breakdown of who's looking you up and what they're looking at. Again, if you're looking to gain knowledge on how to further optimize your profile, ask Google. They'll tell you. They'll give you hints. Okay, let's recap. Here's what we learned today. We learned about part 1. We talked about the importance of having a Google business profile and its impact on your business. Part 2 looked at how to set up and optimize your Google profile to improve your relevance and get found in a local search. 3, we unpacked reviews and talked about them, tell you how to get people to like you, know you, trust you, and again, how that affects your ranking. And part 4, your best practices. I hope people found some real good content here and gave them some ideas, because listen, a lot of times when you attend these things, the information comes at you like a fire hose. Like, where do I start? There's so much good stuff. Pick 1 or 2 good ideas. On this, just start with your profile. And if you liked what you had, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask for a review as well. So if you can take out your phones again, scan me there. And I think Tristan sends me within a couple of days the list of people here. So everyone here, again, thank you for attending. You're going to get a 14-page recap that will, again, take you step by step through the entire process. So I hope everyone, found this helpful, and that you get some use out of this. And definitely, go out there, get your profiles done. And the reason I do this, by the way, I'm a lender. If you like a lender who just doesn't, say, I've got great rates and I close on time, which are things I'm supposed to do anyhow. If you want someone who has looked into promoting your business, is going to be a true partner rather than a vendor, please reach out. We're always looking for new people to partner up with. And again, we teach a whole bunch of classes, so feel free to reach out, and we're going to be doing a lot of it because Tristan, I really do. I don't know if you see how much I interact on your
you do a great job, man. That's why we love you.
I love it. I like all the stuff that we get. It's really good information. Most people are gentle and kind and want to guide everybody else and give them great information. And in today's world, that is really helpful, particularly for new agents too, who kind of flounder around, don't know where to go, what to do. This is a great space.
Yeah, and if somebody, Kevin, I don't know if you do help out with this, but if somebody has gotten their Google profile blocked, do you help with that? I've got somebody who does. If you don't, that's why.
I don't, but I'd be interested to. So if you have somebody who does, I'd love to speak with them, because again, I'd like to find out how to get it unblocked.
Kevin,
because
I'll
I
connect
understand that
you.
it's a process.
Yeah, anyone else, they can go there, and Kevin, I'll connect you directly to the owner of Optimize 5, so you know who it is,
Terrific.
and we'll go from there. And Kevin, I can't wait to go through another class with you. What are you thinking of doing next?
Well, let's see. I just did Chat GPT. I'd love to do. Has anyone done YouTube?
You know what? Let's go with YouTube secrets for real estate agents. I like that one.
Terrific. We'll
I
do
feel
that
like
next.
I'm choosing, I feel like I'm playing Jeopardy. Um, Kevin, we'll go with Facebook ads for real estate for 500 or no. We'll do YouTube secrets. That's a good one.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, I love YouTube. It creates the most loyal clients.
Yeah, it
It
does.
really does.
We
So
love
it's
YouTube.
great use. Terrific.
Thank you so
Okay.
much, everyone. We'll see you next time with Kevin.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thanks.
great day.